Glory to Jesus Christ. Today is Thursday, April 2nd, the 39th day of the fast, coming almost there to the end of those 40 days. And it's an interesting thing if we think about that we go through different emotions connected with Great Lent and the fast. Early on in our lives in the church, there might actually be a dread for it, like, oh, I wish it wasn't coming. But then as we get more mature, what happens is we eagerly wait for it to come. And it might even be in January that we just say to ourselves, I can't wait for the fast to start. I really need this. I need to get back on track. And then as we go through the fast, then we go through different emotions as well. One of those emotions would be, I just wish it would be over. It seems so long. But also, we go through an emotion that says that I'll be sad when it's done. And I think that's an incredibly common thing. And Father Alexander will address that in his excerpt from the Diary of a Russian Priest today, specifically from his role as a priest. And I can echo what he says as well, being a priest myself. But before we go to that and think about those emotions kind of coming to the end of the fast, we'll read from the Lenten Triodian one more text about where we find ourselves in time with Lazarus, the friend of Christ, right now. And then we'll read another text, which is not about either the parable of the rich man and Lazarus or Lazarus himself, but just a text that helps to keep us centered as to why we're doing what we're doing during the fast. And maybe as a good reminder, if we're in that place right now where it's, I wish it was over, that it'll help us to continue on and keep us on track. So the first text we'll read, again, is about Lazarus. And Lazarus has been dead now for 2 days, and his sisters, Martha and Mary, shed tears of grief for him, gazing at the stone before his tomb. But the Creator has come with his disciples to despoil death and bestow life. Therefore, let us cry to him, O Lord, glory to thee. And again, we're picking up on the sadness that Mary and Martha and those surrounding them had, which will ultimately lead to Christ as he gets to Bethany, that he will weep himself. And so another reminder of the sadness of Mary and Martha. And then the other text we'll read, again, not about Lazarus or the rich man and Lazarus, but so important, keeping us on track. So, come, brethren, and before the end, with pure hearts, let us all draw near to the compassionate God. Casting aside the cares of this life, let us take thought for our souls. Through abstinence, let us reject with loathing the pleasures of food, and let us busy ourselves with acts of compassion. For in this way, as it is written, some have entertained angels unaware. By providing for the needy, let us feed him who has fed us with his own flesh. Let us clothe ourselves in him who clothes himself in light as in a garment. So, at the intercessions of the most pure Theotokos and ever Virgin Mother, we shall receive forgiveness of our sins and with compunction cry to him, O Lord, deliver us from the condemnation of those on thy left hand, and make us worthy to stand on thy right, for thou art merciful and lovest mankind. Again, this text is so crucial for us to hear right now at this point in the fast. And as we hear it, as it says, by providing for the needy, let us feed him who has fed us with his own flesh. It reminds us of the parable of the sheep and the goats on the Sunday of the Last Judgment before Great Lent started, that as we've done it to one of these, the least of my brethren, you've done it to me. And the text there reminds us that we are providing for the needy, that we're being compassionate, and that we unaware of who we might even be helping. So this really should help us as we get close to the end of the fast. We mentioned already then the emotions that happen as we get to the close of the fast itself. And so Father Alexander writes in his diary, I always feel sad about the slow ebb of spiritual life after Easter. First, there is an increase in spiritual forces as we enter deeper into Lent, everything inward becomes considerably easier. Our soul is purer and more at peace. Our love is greater and our prayer better. Then come the days of Holy Week, which are always so remarkable, and after that, the joy of Easter. I do not know how to thank God for letting me participate in all this so fully as a priest. But then comes Bright Week. The doors into the sanctuary are closed as if the gates of heaven had been locked, and everything becomes more difficult. The soul grows weaker, becomes faint hearted and lazy, and every spiritual effort is hard. This is, again, I think, a common emotion that many of us will have, whether we're a priest or a layperson. Sometimes we even label it as a post paschal depression that happens because during the fast, the church gives us so much to focus on and tools to keep us on track. And then it almost seems like it goes away, which it doesn't, but it seems that way. And so I think hearing those words of Father Alexander, if we've been through many fasts ourselves, just looking back in time, we know that that happens to us. I think it's a good reminder to us to be on guard, that it doesn't happen. To some degree it will, but that I think we can be on guard to let it not happen. That all the things that we're doing now, connected with that text from the Triodian about being compassionate, feeding the needy, and caring for the poor, that this will not stop. After Pascha, that our prayer life would take on a whole new level as we go beyond Pascha. And so, again, these are just real emotions that we all go through. Father Alexander did, I do, we all do, but hopefully we can guard against them. But when we do get into that place where it seems to be sad, maybe that things are harder spiritually, that thank goodness that the church will give us another fast even after Great Lent, and that would be the Apostles' Fast. And then, of course, as we go through the year, the Dormition Fast, and then the Nativity Fast as well, to keep us back on track. So may this 39th day of the fast be a good reminder that we keep up and not even think about maybe the sadness that will come as it ends, and just think of so many things ahead of us in this next week that will bring us not only joy but sadness, thinking about just our own sinfulness, thinking about Christ going to the cross, but ultimately that joy of the resurrection. Glory to Jesus Christ.